application. Lots to get into today, including more conversations about the move by Todd Bates to Oklahoma. Todd Bates putting out a statement yesterday afternoon on that front. We've also got to continue our conversation, I think, about the Caleb Williams situation out at Oklahoma, with the fact that one of the top quarterbacks in all of the country this past year, who came on like gangbusters, so much so that Spencer Rattler ends up at South Carolina. Now, there is some great irony that SC could get both of these players, meaning Rattler to South Carolina, who was pushed out of Oklahoma by Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams potentially to SC Southern California to play with his former head coach, Lincoln Riley. We also got Clemson basketball updates for you. And last night, having a chance to listen to that game for whatever reason, I couldn't get it locally, but having to listen to that game, and legendary Clemson SID having to fill in and do the play-by-play commentary instead of his normal color position. He was joined by Jim Davis, the former Clemson women's basketball coach. I thought Tim Ray did a great job. I mean, that has got to be a tough thing to fill in for. And when we talk with Tim tomorrow, we'll find out a little bit more about his background in calling play-by-play, because it is completely different from calling the color commentary. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. I know we've got a lot of notes and nuggets to get to from you guys, as well as you have chimed into the program over the past couple of days. And I don't know why. I somehow missed them. I mean, I tend to do pretty well with making sure we get those in, but for whatever reason, there were several messages and texts that came through, and the old boy Swanny let you down. I let my down, and I apologize. Again, our website, put the .com on it. Doggone it, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. You can head over there and be a part of the program, and also get some insight and take a look and listen to our thoughts from yesterday's program about Cade Klubnik and DJ Uiagalelei potentially going head-to-head here in a couple of months up in Tigertown, as they'll have spring practice. And look, I said it yesterday. I'll continue to say it. It might make people who are close to DJ unhappy, but the fact of the matter remains, at this point, DJ Uiagalelei, I think, just has to either A, get healthy. I think that's a part of it. So maybe it's not either A, get healthy. Maybe it's, I think he has to A, get healthy. That means knee and finger. And then I think that B, he's got to get right between his ears. And he will be pressed by Cade Klubnik, in my estimation. And I have said this, and I didn't mention this yesterday. I think it'll be healthy for DJ to be pushed by Cade Klubnik. I mean, I do. I don't know that at any point in 2021, I don't know if at any point along the way, DJ Uiagalelei looked over his shoulder and thought, ooh, Tyson Pumachan, ooh, Hunter Helms. I think he's going to feel the heat from having a guy like Cade Klubnik on campus. 803-450-0086. That's your number. Tiger Chuck chimes into the program. He says, Swanny, no way does Cade not start over DJ at some point early on. DJ is the worst quarterback in the Power 5, and I think some Clemson fans give him the benefit of the doubt just because it's our guy. But my goodness, imagine watching that atrocious play for another team. Jake Bentley is better. Yes, a lot better. That comes to us from Tiger Chuck. So again, the conversations surrounding DJ are not going anywhere. And the reason being is that in every single way, shape, or form, you've seen DJ this past year on the gridiron. I mean, from start to finish, it never felt normal. It never felt like, hey, this guy looks comfortable. This guy is embracing the role. And what is so weird about it, and I honestly believe that this is the strangest part of it all, and I think this is the most fair way to say it. It is incredibly strange to me that DJ looked as good as he did, maybe not in the Boston College game, right? Nerves, rust, first game, but you still led Clemson to a comeback victory a year ago when you find out just a couple of days before the game that Trevor Lawrence is not going to be able to play because of COVID-19. But then that following week, the performance that DJ had against Notre Dame is, when you look back at it, one of the most inexplicable things that maybe he's done. In that game, DJ went 29 of 44 for 439 yards passing. That broke the freshman yardage record set by Deshaun Watson. The 400-plus passing yards by DJ Uiagalelei was the first of his career and only the fifth Clemson quarterback to ever accomplish that feat. And Trevor Lawrence at that time had only done it once as well. And it's possible, I didn't double-check Lawrence's numbers, but it's possible that that was the only that Trevor never threw for 400 yards again. I can't remember if he did anywhere along the way, just off the top of my head. But in Lawrence's absence a year ago, the future looked bright at Clemson, and the belief was that this offense was going to be in the steady hands of DJ Uiagalelei. He also threw in that game, by the way, 2 touchdowns and rushed for another touchdown. And it wasn't because of DJ, you'll remember. It wasn't because of DJ that the Clemson Tigers ended up losing that ball game. It was because of the Clemson defense and their inability to make stops. And that, to me, when you go back and check it, and look, would Clemson have won that game with Trevor Lawrence? Probably so. I mean, you look at the way Clemson dominated Notre Dame in the ACC championship. It's hard not to believe that the Tigers would have played better with Trevor Lawrence there. But 29 of 44, 439, and 2 touchdowns. This is a team in Clemson that trailed 10-0. DJ had that bad, the pitch to Etienne that ends up being fumbled, and a scoop and score for a touchdown by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the second quarter of that ball game to give Notre Dame a 20-10 lead after the Tigers had battled back to make it a 13-10 ball game. You're down at the half, 23-13. You get 10 points in the third quarter to tie things up heading into the fourth quarter. And DJ leads a 12-play with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the game, in a tie game, on the road at Notre Dame. DJ leads a 12-play, 74-yard drive in 5 minutes and 41 seconds to give Clemson a 33-26 lead on the road in South Bend. Again, I know it wasn't 80,000 fans in attendance, but the DJ Uiagalelei in front of 11,011 fans, according to the information I have here. The DJ Uiagalelei that you saw this past season, would you have the confidence that he would lead a 12-play, 74-yard, go-ahead scoring drive? Probably not. And then let's not forget, in overtime, Clemson gets the ball first. Boom goes the dynamite. First play, they're essentially in the end zone. They're at the 1, and DJ punches it in. 40-33, Clemson takes the lead in overtime. And Clemson, by the way, after going up with 3:33 left in that game, gave up an 8-play, 91-yard drive in 1 minute and 26 seconds. That loss at Notre Dame a year ago, not on DJ's shoulders. If anything, he carried that Clemson team that evening. And that, I mean, Travis Etienne, 18 carries, 28 yards, 1 touchdown. That's the thing that has become the most mind-blowing of it all when you look at DJ, is the fact that here he was, this bright, shining star that the offense was just going to be handed over to. I think everybody bought into it. And then this year looked the complete opposite. It looked the absolute opposite. And that was the thing that I think has continued to eat at people left and right. John in Archdale, North Carolina hits up the program. Again, you can too. 803-450-0086. He says, Swanny, I'm back in the corporate office starting today, so I won't be bothering you during your live show. John in Archdale, don't worry, buddy. You hit us up anytime. You know we'll squeeze it in, man. We'll make it happen. Preston, listening to the program. Yesterday, I said something to the effect of that, when you talk about the pay raise that a guy like Todd Bates got at Clemson, a $200,000 pay raise up to $715,000 a year. I said, buddy, I'd be checking out. Preston said, if I got that pay raise, I would walk out of the classroom mid-sentence. I think most people would agree with that. Most people are walking out of anywhere for that type of money in a hurry. I mean, that is a lot of coin. That is a lot of coin. Again, we'll get back into the Todd Bates conversations a little bit later. Nick in Aiken. Hey, check it out. How about the thoroughbred country? Nick chiming in. Not only, you never know, man. Nick could be an Aiken High guy. He could be a South Aiken guy. He could be a Silver Bluff guy. And if you're a Silver Bluff guy, Nick, then you and I can't talk anymore because that's the old rivalry, right? Barnwell and Silver Bluff. Don't forget it, Nick. BHS is the best. I will say, off the heels of the Super Bowl shuffle back in the day, though, credit to, I think, both Barnwell and Silver Bluff. They went to like local radio stations and put together like songs to battle each other. That was back when Mac Weir and Clayton Criswell were going head to head in the 80s. And boy, those two had some stellar football teams in the 2A level. Nonetheless, Nick says, Swanny, I'd be surprised if DJ starts over Cade. Clemson would have been happy to have Kelly Bryant back this season. Probably would have went back to the playoffs. Oof, Nick. I mean, that is one that's a tough pill. And you know what? You might be right. Kelly Bryant might have been the starter again. As I said yesterday, more elusive. Maybe not the best arm. Certainly seemed to have more confidence than DJ had this past year. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's send it out to the phone lines as well. You can be a part of the program this way, too. Again, 803-450-0086. Call us. Leave us a message. We'll get you in. And, yes, 00, if you're out there listening, we are working to get you the opportunity to call in and be a part of the show live. So we are still working on that. I hope to pull that off in the very near future. Nonetheless, let's send it out to Mac. Mac, what's going on, man?
Swan, I know you're talking about the quarterback, DJ, and you're talking about the new guy coming in. Got to be honest with you, man. Y'all may be seeing something I'm not seeing and vice versa. But I haven't seen any improvement in DJ over the whole entire year. I don't know if the offensive coordinator or the quarterback coach, who's over in charge of working with him, he's still doing the same thing. You would think a year or two under his belt, we would be seeing improvement. And another thing is, I don't think someone is teaching him how to read defenses, and I don't think someone is teaching him. And I hate to say this, I don't think the young man can see that well. So I'll listen to your response if I'm not in my bed by the time you get off. You brought up a good point, or you started on it. You got to go back and think about Kelly Bryant's situation. And when they brought in Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant couldn't get the ball to those extraordinary wide receivers that Clemson had. Clemson had an extraordinary group of wide receivers this past football season. I think a lot of those guys left because DJ couldn't get them the ball. Some boys got aspirations about going to the NFL, and the quarterback couldn't get them the ball. Then he's like, look, I'm out of here. So that's another good point. Think about.
Appreciate it, Mac. Yeah, and the other thing, too, and I tried to be careful with this yesterday, and I think anybody that listened to the program, or if you go over to the website where I've got the link up about Cade Klubnik coming to Tiger Town and having the heat on, essentially DJ Uiagalelei's rear end. But if you, for a minute, just think about the number of wide receivers that were out this year, injured or whatever, like that has to be a part of it. There were also a lot of drops this year as well that I know, I think as fans, you like to throw something like that on the quarterback because he is the straw that stirs the drink. Morgan Thomas, who hosts the Morgan Thomas Show, put together a graphic of the Clemson drop percentage, adjusted completion percentage numbers since 2014. And if you just look at the drop percentage, the drop, now again, drops aren't on the quarterback, right? I mean, I guess technically some of them could be. Cole Stout, 5.9. Deshaun Watson, 7.9, 7.5, 7.6. Kelly Bryant, 4.7 drop percentage. 4.7. Kelly Bryant, ironically, the lowest drop percentage of any Clemson quarterback since 2014 by a pretty wide margin, by the way. 7.9 for Trevor, 6.9 for Trevor, 5.7 for Trevor. Last year, DJ had 4.9 drop percentage in 2 games. 10.3% drops. 10.3% drops. I mean, that is a wild number. And in the ACC, that ranked 14th. 14th in the league. Incredibly, Kelly Bryant, when he was at 4.7, was second in the league. Even still, I mean, that is another just stat that does speak to the fact that the wide receivers, quote unquote, didn't help him out. 803-450-0086. Let me know what you think. Again, the heat is on. Klubnik will be arriving in Tiger Town soon. And you'll be able to watch him this weekend at the Army All-American Bowl, noon on NBC Saturday, January the 8th in San Antonio, Texas. Cade Klubnik will be a part of that All-Star game. And again, he was named Max Prep's National Player of the Year. He'll be the quarterback of the West. Ty Simpson, Alabama commit, who Clemson was also very interested in, will also be playing on the West squad. So you got a couple of guys there. And remember, it was Simpson and his commitment to Alabama that then opened up the door for Clemson to offer Cade Klubnik because the Tigers were targeting Simpson. Ironically, after it was all said and done, Klubnik finished as the number 1 quarterback in 247's composite ratings and the 18th best player in America, ahead of Ty Simpson, who finished 3rd as far as quarterbacks go. Klubnik with a 0.9901 247 composite rating, the top quarterback in the 2021 class, who will be arriving on campus as soon as this game essentially wraps up. So the heat is on in the Clemson quarterback room for DJ Uiagalelei. We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back with more on the show that shakes the Southland as Clemson Sports Talk rolls along